So what I'm trying to demonstrate is the way that the inside-out tracking on the Windows Mixed Reality headset sometimes gets confused and thinks one controller is actually both controllers. So for this test, what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep my left hand in front of me. I'm going to put my right hand behind my back. It's going to lose tracking, and as it should. And then in a few moments' time, what you're going to see is the right hand is suddenly going to appear back in sight in the exact physical space that the left hand is currently occupying. But at some point, both controllers are going to appear in my left hand. There we go. So that is my right hand wiggling, which is still behind my back, and this is my left hand. And you'll see how it shoots off into random directions. Now, the problem starts in the same physical space. Both controllers occupy the same physical space for a short amount of time. And this is where the cameras in the headset think that my left controller is both my right and my left, which is very annoying. Now, when I'm actually using it in games and things like this, the most annoying thing it can do is not only this, but when it shoots off like that in a random direction. Because then not only has my left hand or my right hand lost tracking, but also whatever item I'm holding has just shot 20 feet across the floor. And if I'm playing, for example, Space Pirate Trainer, that could be my shield that's suddenly disappeared 20 feet away and is defending something else. Or in ping pong, it could be, I'm having my bat hand in this hand, and my other hand is used primarily just for serving. The problem is, when it flies directly at the other player, the opponent, it is incredibly distracting for both you and the other player. And this should not be happening. The controllers cannot occupy the same physical space. So it should be a really easy fix to set the tracking so that the controllers cannot occupy the same physical space. And any time that it thinks this is happening, it must be a glitch, and it must be incorrect. Because as you can see, this is not physical in the real world. This is not possible in the real world. So it shouldn't be happening here either. Now you can see the rotational tracking is still working. That's my right hand behind my back, wiggling. But actually, my right hand is pointed this way at the moment. So not only is the physical location of it wrong, but it's also ignoring the built-in accelerometer data in preference of whatever data this ring is providing. And again, it's just moved again. My hand is still pointed this way, behind my back. And if I bring it back into view, that was how it was behind my back. And yet the tracking thought it was still pointed that way because it seems to be deferring to the cameras and ignoring the inbuilt data. I can understand there are probably a multitude of reasons why you've done that, but it does cause some problems. The easiest fix I can think of is to make some sort of collision detection so that the controllers cannot occupy the same physical space. And any time that they do, it must be regarded as being wrong. In addition, it would be nice, like that, you see how it's just flown off in a random direction? That's incredibly annoying, and again, that should be easily fixed because nothing in real life moves in a perfectly straight line. And what looks like is happening to me is that the small movement of this controller, or the controller behind my back, is being amplified into a perfectly straight line, which is not possible in real life. Nobody moves in perfectly straight lines. Nothing moves in perfectly straight lines. So any time that the controller is tracked as being moving in a perfectly straight line, it must be incorrect. And again, you can see it glitching out all over here now. The controller is still behind my back. It still has not come back into view. And the headset is just really desperate to believe that it is the same controller. And it is just, it causes all sorts of problems. Now, most annoyingly, this happens in Space Pirate Trainer, where my shield might be over here, I might be shooting over there, and suddenly my shield will just disappear off into the distance. Or if I'm playing ping pong, my left hand will suddenly fly directly at the opponent's face, which is incredibly distracting for the both of us. Also in Rec Room, any item that I'm holding my left hand has suddenly disappeared into 20 feet away. Or even in games like Onward and Pavlov, where the player models are bonded to the hands. Suddenly it looks like my body is just stretched out and glitched completely, which is not fair on the other players. Now the other problem is, when it's not glitching out like this, it bends itself directly to the centre of the play area, which again is not the end of the world, but again, if you have a player model who's ragdolled and the position is dependent like that there, it's just pinned itself to the floor. Now, if you imagine what that looks like in VR, it looks like my player model is suddenly dragging his hand or his knuckles along the floor, but his head is still up here. And so the whole player model gets stretched into some bizarre shape. Again, it's not fair on other players because suddenly they have this weird mutant zombie thing charging towards them instead of a real human being. But yeah, it's a problem. Please fix it.